my name is Sarah, and today we are talking about Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. This is the first book in a new YA dystopian trilogy called The Great Library, where the Library of Alexandria was never destroyed and has turned into a dictatorial superpower that controls all access to knowledge. Though the pursuit of knowledge in this particular dystopian society is highly encouraged, the personal ownership of physical books is expressly forbidden. Our protagonist, Jess Brightwell, believes in the power and value of the library, but has gained most of his knowledge through physical books, as his father is a black market book trader. In order to best serve his family, Jess enters training to spend his life in service to the library and function as his family's spy. Along the way, Jess meets a wonderful group of characters, develops some fantastic friendships, and learns a whole lot, including some rather interesting but disturbing things about the value the library places on knowledge over the individual human life. So I first heard about this book last year when Kirsty from Melbourne on My Mind read it and raved about it, and I was immediately intrigued by the story itself, and guys, this did not disappoint. The short version of this review is this book is fantastic, you need to go read it right now. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I loved everything about it from start to finish. The particular dystopian society and world that Rachel Caine has created is so rich and complex and diverse, and I love how she built it. My favorite way to build a world like that is to give you sort of the occasional info dump, maybe a little more at the beginning, just so you get a better feel for what's going on. But the further along you get, to not get so info dumpy, but rather set it up so that almost as your brain is asking particular questions about how something in the world works, within a page or two, the author has answered that question, because they can just anticipate how, as the story is progressing, the questions that you're going to be asking and things like that. And that is exactly what Rachel Caine does in this book. And I just absolutely adore the world that she created, all of the intricacies that she has added to it, particularly with how the library and access to knowledge and all of these things work. And I'm really excited to see how she's going to continue to build more and more layers into this world as the series progresses. As you guys know, I am a character-driven reader, and this book is chock full of just fantastic, wonderful characters. There really isn't a character that I didn't like unless you weren't supposed to like them, but all of them were so well developed. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about this book is the diversity that is represented in the characters. Jess does come from London, but because he goes to Egypt to train to be a librarian, people from literally all over the world are joining him in this training experience. And so you have characters from Spain and from Germany and from Egypt and just from all over the place, and a lot of them are really prominent throughout the story. And so even though our protagonist is a white male, there is a lot of really great diversity represented in a lot of the other really strong and important characters throughout the story. And I really appreciated that element that Rachel Caine added to the story, that she recognizes that this world as a whole is so much bigger than just one location, and the people that Jess is interacting with throughout the entire series are representatives of those different cultures and different values and different ways of life, and it's just so fantastic. On top of my love of the individual characters and their particular development, I really love the friendships that develop throughout this series. In particular, I am a huge fan of the friendship between Jess and Thomas. Thomas is from Germany and is the first person that Jess meets when he gets on the train to begin his training, and I just love the friendship that develops between the two of them. I love how they come to trust each other and to lean on each other and to support each other as they're going through this sort of sometimes mentally and emotionally and physically draining training experience, and I just love the interaction between the two of them so much. But even beyond that, I really love the friendship that forms between all of the sort of other main characters. Obviously, you have a pretty large group when you start out, and as they progress through their training, they sort of get picked off one by one as the group gets smaller and smaller, and they approach the final test and everything. And even though there are particular characters where there's a lot of tension between them in the beginning of the story, I love how the further and further they get into their training and the more and more they see of what it means to be a librarian, the more they realize that they have to rely on each other and that they sort of have to put their differences aside and be willing to be friends. And I just loved that. It was just fantastic. It was just wonderful. This is my first Rachel Caine book, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but in this book, when it comes to plot and pacing, Rachel Caine could do no wrong. The plot kept me guessing from start to finish. There were a lot of really great twists and turns that I just did not see coming, and the pacing matched all of that so well. She knew exactly when to slow things down so that you would sort of savor a moment or an interaction between characters or whatever, and she knew exactly when to speed up to sort of add that sense of urgency that the characters were feeling based on whatever they were experiencing. And it all was just so well done from start to finish. There really wasn't anything about this book that I would have changed because I just adored every single bit of it. And I fell in love with these characters. They are my precious babies, and I just want them to be okay and for them to have a wonderful life. And yeah. Basically, like I said, the short version is this book is fantastic. You should go read it right now because Kirsty is the only one that I know that has read it, and so I don't have a lot of people to gush with about my feelings. The second book in the series, Paper and Fire, comes out this July, and I am very eagerly anticipating its release. Well, there you have it, friends. That is my review of Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. If you have read the book, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know in the comments below. And if you intend to pick it up based on this review, please let me know in the comments below as well. If you want to follow me elsewhere online, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, all at Sarah Ann Hayes. The links for those profiles will also be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye! People he injured. So many. The plot kept me.